Canceled. This guy's such a fucking loser, dude. Matt Walsh is such a wannabe creep. Like, he lives in Nashville. He's got a fucking banjo behind him. Bro, you do not have talent. You can barely sit and talk to another human being, as very evident in the What is a Woman documentary, if you can even call it that. It's just a fucking propaganda film. The Walrus is a transphobic book that he wrote. It's like, you can't go to school because you're a walrus and you can't change from being a walrus. And it's like, yeah, wow. Trans people are just like animals. I didn't think about it that way.
It often comes as a surprise to people when I tell them that I do the majority of the cooking in my house. Now, do I cook because I want to challenge gender stereotypes? Or do I cook because I'm a sexist and I believe that men make better chefs? Or do I cook simply because I enjoy it and I'm good at it?
Oh, so like Matt Walsh does something that undermines like traditional gender roles and doesn't think about it that much? Yeah, guess what? That's what fucking gay people do too.
Or do I cook simply because I enjoy it and I'm good at it?
Dude, you know he burns everything. This man undercooks rice. This man burns water. Like there's literally no feasible way this man is good at cooking.
Theories abound, but nobody can say for sure. Whatever the reason for my cooking, it is partly because I cook so much that I reacted with special horror and took it personally when I read the news this week that the Biden administration wants to confiscate my gas stove.
Okay, that's just a lie. That's not true. They just want to make it so you can't have them in new houses.
And yours, everyone's.
Okay.
The New York Post.
They want to go into your house and physically remove it. Yep, you're a child.
The New York Post reports, quote, the Biden administration is considering a nationwide ban on gas stoves, citing the harmful pollutants released by the appliances, according to a report. The Consumer Product Safety Commission is mulling the action after recent studies showed emissions from the devices can cause health and respiratory problems.
You notice how he twists the story? Biden administration weighs nationwide ban on gas stoves, and he turned that into Joe Biden is coming to take your gas stove. And we live in a fucking world where there are motherfuckers out there that take this guy seriously, even though that's what he just said. He said the most insane thing that you can possibly say after reading this, and so there are some brain dead idiots, quite a few actually, that listen to him and be like, fuck, he's right. And he does that with everything.
This is a hidden hazard, CPSC Commissioner Richard Trumka Jr. told the outlet. Any option is on the table. Products that can't be made safe can be banned.
Yeah, good.
Reports by groups including the American Chemical Society and New York University Law School's Institute for Policy Integrity.
Notice that he's listing a bunch of people who definitely understand and have more information than he does. A lot of people that are much smarter than Matt Walsh.
Found that gas stoves, which are used in 40% of U.S. homes, while the remainder use various forms of electric cookers, emit pollutants like nitrogen dioxide, carbon monoxide, and fine matter at levels deemed unsafe by the Environmental Protection Agency and the World Health Organization. The studies also link gas stoves to respiratory illness, cardiovascular problems, cancer, and other health conditions.
Okay, it's like that. These don't seem like good things. It seems like they're making an understandable point.
More than 12% of childhood asthma cases can be attributed to gas stoves, according to a report published last month by the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health. Not only that, by the way, but AOC, who predictably jumped on the anti-gas stove bandwagon, tweeted that gas stoves, along with giving you cancer and asthma and destroying the planet, can also cause brain damage.
They can. I mean, it would explain a lot. You literally cannot look at me, Matt Walsh, and tell me I use a gas stove all the time and I'm fine. That's an argument that you don't get to make. I'm sorry. It's carbon monoxide, dude. Matt Walsh, take all the carbon monoxide sensors out of his house for fucking culture war purposes. Fucking challenge.
And gas stoves aren't the only appliances on the chopping block. States like California and New York have already moved to ban gas heaters. Like anything run on gas must be prohibited, apparently starting with the stoves, is what we're being told.
Because they're all extreme hazards for health and fire.
Yes, people have been cooking with gas since the 1820s.
You know what else they did in the 1820s? Slavery.
Millions and millions of people have been using gas stoves for decade upon decade.
You can't say, like, so many people use them when it's only 40% now. It's not the majority anymore. They've been being phased out, so we might as well just commit to the fact that they're being phased out and make sure in 2080 there's not a couple of gas stoves still lying around from when Matt Walsh made his stupid, moronic, brain-dead video about it, and they poisoned some children.
Millions and millions of people have been using gas stoves for decade upon decade without any issue, but now suddenly it's a crisis.
Suddenly, lead paint becomes a crisis. All the paint in my house is just fine. People have been using lead paint for so long. Like, you could say this about anything. Yeah, lead, gasoline, asbestos. I really wish we had culture war shit back when they banned shit like that. Suddenly, cigarettes are bad.
And people who never mentioned the crisis before, people who never said anything about the fact that gas stoves are giving us tumors and destroying our brains, are all quite certain now that it is happening.
So they used to not say that it was a problem, and now that they learned that it was a problem, they're saying it's a problem now. That has to be the most idiotic thing I've ever heard. Like, this man is a failure. He's so pathetic. He can't make fucking sentences that make sense. God damn, it's like hard. It's hard to listen to.
And they insist that drastic action be taken in response.
What a dramatic, fucking petulant little man-child.
None of us from gas stove households ever noticed people being struck down with cancer or
How does he think cancer works? I never saw it happening. This man's literally a fucking baby.
or losing their minds because of the stove.
Yeah. Brother, his own fan base would beg to differ.
Just to summarize, here's why I will not consent to this war on gas stoves.
Because Joe Biden is doing it. That's literally the only reason. Yeah, Matt Walsh famously wants to ban pit bulls. I replied to him on Twitter. He obviously didn't acknowledge it, but he said, all it takes is one pit bull to kill a child. So we should ban pit bulls. He literally made a gun control argument, but for pit bulls. It's like insane. Here, I'll find the fucking tweet. I'll do it. You would need 85,000 people eaten alive by pit bulls every year before you'd consider it a problem. I don't know what to say other than that it's literally a psychotic point of view. Yeah, 0.25% of the population. Much more gun deaths than pit bull deaths. Oh, only 20 human beings horrifically mauled to death by someone's pet? Well, never mind then. Like, bro, you can make the same exact argument for a gun. Like, it's insane that he is literally doing all of the logic that you would do for gun control, but being like, no, it's pit bulls that are the real problem.
There is no compelling evidence for any of the claims they are now making. What they have are a handful of studies funded, usually by activist groups.
Why does he move like a TikToker? He's like, gas stoves are so, they're not that harmful for the environment. Like, he's moving so weird, bro.
There's no speculating that gas stoves may have some link, maybe, to some health problems, possibly, perhaps, in theory.
It's not in theory. It's like pretty reasonable.
Of course, you could conduct a study finding a theoretical link between literally any object or food or activity and any health problem. This is easy to do if you set out with the intention of finding the link.
Yeah, finding something is a lot easier when you look for it. True. Does he know what a hypothesis is?
Second, a big part of the concern is about the supposed environmental danger. CBS News reported recently.
Like, the climate shit is like, whatever, man. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? The fucking world's doomed with climate change. It's not like an issue. Just like, talk about health. Talk about health. Talk about, it's just the health.
If we're supposed to believe that fossil fuels are destroying the planet, what happens when we get rid of the gas stoves and we convert 40 million households over to electric all at once? And have increased our electricity usage by that much.
Yeah, you would do it all at once. No one ever said that.
Electricity is largely generated by fossil fuels also. So even by the environmentalists' own logic, aren't you simply shifting the problem, not solving it?
When you generate electricity with fossil fuels, you can also generate electricity, admittedly, in that own, he said, the majority. So that means that there's some fucking energy sources are not fossil fuels. So it would be easier to have things already be electric so you can just switch everything over to renewable energy quicker. But conservatives don't think more than fucking 2 steps ahead of their own logic because they're hurriedly rushing to make another insane point to throw you off. Like, this whole video is just him throwing a shotgun scatter of arguments that don't make any sense because it's just you have to flood the waters with like so much nonsense to the point where it's like, well, you can't address all of it. That's why I watch this fucking nonsense, because Ben Shapiro does the same shit. That's why I watch it, so we can fucking sit here and endure it and fucking see everything they have to say and actually dissect it. That's why I fucking turned this fucking 8-minute video into probably like a 20-minute one.
Third point, gas stoves work.
They work.
They just simply work. They work far better than electric stoves. They cook more evenly and efficiently. They can be controlled more precisely.
Okay.
An electric stove is fine for like heating up a can of soup or maybe even frying an egg. I wouldn't try to scramble an egg on an electric stove, but you can at least fry one maybe. But that's the extent of its abilities. Most real cooking requires careful temperature control, something that isn't possible on an electric stove.
You're just bad. Get good. Skill issue. I really want to debate Matt Walsh. I want to debate one of these fucking fuckers so bad, so I could just be like, oh, well, that sounds like a you problem.
Not only that, but electric stoves are harder to clean.
Again, you problem.
They're more expensive to operate over the course of a year.
Maybe the government should subsidize electricity then. Maybe we should nationalize the electricity grid.
So this is yet another example of leftist bureaucrats wanting to take something away that is more affordable and more functional.
And also, no one said anything about taking it away. No one's taking it away. It's just moving forward. Let's not do any more of that. Like, what does he think a ban is? If they banned cigarettes, do you think the police would kick down everyone's door and check for cigarettes and like yank them out of the mouths of babes?
And they do all of this based on flimsy cherry-picked data compiled by activists who almost always stand to profit somehow from the change they're advocating.
Name an activist. Name one of the activists. Who are the activists? What's the group? Who are they funded by? Because I can name those things when it comes to right-wing studies.
This is what left-wing bureaucrats do.
Yeah, man. Leftist Joe Biden.
Fourth, finally, as always, there is the hypocrisy factor. AOC she's saying now that gas stoves cause brain damage, and yet she has taken Instagram videos in her kitchen where you can clearly see the gas stove in the background.
Wow. That's crazy, man. You know what? I think we got her. She's done now. He won.
Which, come to think of it, may actually lend some credence to the theory that gas stoves cause brain damage. I mean, it would explain a lot in her case. I mean,
Hilarious.
It would explain a lot.
I made that joke in the beginning of the video because you're defending gas stoves, you fucking moron. You should have opened with that.
Anyway, Jill Biden was also photographed in her own kitchen in 2020 with a gas stove.
Wow. Does he know that's 3 years ago? Like, even if she had a gas stove right now, it doesn't matter. Also, AOC doesn't even own a house. So she has no choice.
And of course, these people all have gas stoves. Gas stoves are better, and the elites obviously prefer the better thing over the inferior thing. They just don't want you to have it. You can make do with your electric stove, you peon. Besides, you're supposed to be eating bugs anyway. You don't need a stove for that. That's the attitude. Which is why we must respond, no, I will not eat the bugs.
This is the same shit like fucking freak grifters on the internet like Shuan had say. No, I will not eat the bugs. Okay. You are signaling to me that you have consumed moronic propaganda that is catered and created exactly for people with holes in their brain, and you're taking it seriously like a child would, like a baby would. I'm not gonna eat the bugs. No one's making you eat the bugs. That's not real. There are no bugs. You're hallucinating. You got something wrong with you in your brain if you think this.
I will not overcook my chicken stir fry on an incompetent electric stove. I won't do it.
Dude, skill issue. You know his chicken's dry as fuck, too. Drier than Ben Shapiro's wife's pussy.
Who wage war on the gas stove. You are all canceled.
Oh my God, dude. The self-righteous, like, non-stop, egomaniacal fucking, like, grease that you can extract off of Matt Walsh's skin is thicker than goddamn whale oil. My gas stove now identifies as an electric, so I should be fine. I wish I could identify as a gun. I can't say that. Not on my main channel. Sean had saved me from going to the right and introduced me to leftism, socialism in the form of her support for Bernie Sanders. I don't think she's as bad as Matt Walsh, but maybe I'm biased. She's not as bad as Matt Walsh, but she's just as smart as him. She'll like support Bernie and then be like, drag shows are grooming. And then Matt Walsh will retweet it. And it's like, okay, they're on the same wavelength. I'm trying to think of something that might resonate, you know? I want to like pierce through this person's fucking brain disease. When I reply to people on the internet, like it's with the hopes that somebody reads it and like starts to question what they're reading. Because comment sections like Matt Walsh has become the most fucking airtight echo chambers with either the most like dramatic, annoying liberals or all of these fucking weirdos making the same jokes over and over and over again. And I want to just reply something that can make someone read that and say like, yeah, you know, maybe this isn't a good joke or doesn't make sense. Maybe I'll just say that. This joke doesn't even make sense. Like, I get you think trans people are weird or whatever, but at least try to be actually funny. D-. Apply yourself. I guess that's all I can do, you know? Yeah, can you start identifying as funny? It's the same joke. It's the one joke over and over and over again.